Before I begin today's video, just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, Independence Day, alright? We all know what today is about, and whatever you do today, just do it safely and responsibly, alright? So, with that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Trevor, and on today's video, I will be recapping the New Jersey Devils free agency, who they signed. I also got the 2024-2025 schedule that I want to go over, and just a couple little things that Tom Fitzgerald said yesterday in his post-free agency press conference. So, with that press conference yesterday, you could pretty much think that the team is built for the season. It is done. The roster they have is what they will go into this upcoming season with. So, let us get going. And here are the additions and subtractions for the team going into next season, all right? Full additions as of yesterday. Late last night is when I finished this. So, Paul Carter got in a trade with the Vegas Golden Knights. Stefan Noesen signed a free agency. Tomas Tatar back in New Jersey, signed as a free agent. Adam Beckman, Mike Hardman, Brett Pesce, the big one, that was the big free agent signing right as free agency got going on July 1st. Brendan Dillon as well. Jonathan Kovacevic, all right, that was the trade with Montreal. Colton White and Jacob Markstrom back before the draft, all right? The subtractions: Alexander Holtz, Thomas Nosek, Graham Clark, Kevin Ball, Brendan Smith, John Marino, Tyler Weatherspoon, Akira Schmid, and Kaapo Kähkönen. And as of right now, the Devils have a little, close to actually to $5 million in cap space, 4.9, and a little bit of change after that. So, still obviously have to sign Dawson Mercer. That is the big one, the big RFA. They have all summer to do that. That's fine. It's just RFAs the rest of the way. So all summer to get that done. We'll see what the Mercer deal brings. I'm going to assume it's going to be a bridge deal. I think they're going to play it safe. I think 2 years max, and just that bridge deal. You know, Mercer, who had the great 22-23, definitely struggled last season. I think they're going to give him that bridge deal, see where he goes, and hopefully he can get back to that form that he had 2 seasons ago. So, those were all the additions, the subtractions, couple of the trades thrown in there. But let us talk about the 4 big free agent gets for this team. And we're going to start with the big one, Brett Pesce. So, it was rumored for a couple weeks now. Brett Pesce and the Devils. It was out there. The insiders were saying it ever since like 2 weeks before the draft, a week before the draft. You get where I'm going here. So, Brett Pesce, 6'3", 206 pounds from the Carolina Hurricanes. He signed a 6-year, $5.5 million deal by the Devils. That is really good. People were saying 6x6, 6.5 maybe, but the fact they got him under that, I will take that and the extra year on top of that. So, top 4 defenseman who shuts down passing lanes close to the net, helps his team advance the puck up the ice, also defends the rush as aggressively as anyone in the league. This is very good. This is what we needed. Great on the penalty kill, keeps the puck out of the slot, despite a lack of physicality. And, he did play some youth hockey in the state of New Jersey. I did find that while doing my little research here, and is projected to be on the second pair. Exactly what we needed on that back end. Because you traded guys out like Marino, Ball, Brendan Smith, who they didn't re-sign, but thank God, you know, I will give credit where credit is due to Tom Fitzgerald. He got his goaltender. He rebuilt he got a mostly brand new defensive core. Completely rebuilt the bottom 6, checked off every little thing he wanted to do this offseason. We're going to get to what he didn't do later on in the video, all right? So, Brett Pesce, obviously the big signing, grew up in New York. His family was all Ranger fans, so not exactly ideal, but he did an interview with NHL Network the other day, and he's like, He's like, yeah, I turned my family on to Devils fans now. We will bleed the Red and Black brothers. So, good on him. I am excited for him. and we'll see what he will bring, and hopefully he's worth the money. After that, Brendan Dillon. So I was thinking it was going to be one or the other, Pesci or Dillon, but they did end up getting Dillon. 6'4", 225 pounds, played for the Winnipeg Jets last year. He signs for 3 years at $4 million. Physical defensive defenseman, not good on the penalty kill, but is strong 5v5, projected to be on the third pair. Again, exactly what the Devils needed, to tighten up defensively. And they get that in Dillon. They get that in Pesci. So, very happy about that. Very, very happy. So, those were the two big ads on the back end. Now we're going to get to the front end, the forward core. And we're going to start with Stefan Noesen. So, Stefan Noesen back in New Jersey, all right? Played with the Devils from 2016 to 2019. His best moment as a Devil in that timeline will going back to the 2018 playoffs against Tampa Bay in game number 3. He had the game-winning goal against the Lightning in that game. That was probably his best moment in a Devils uniform. And then in the 2023 playoffs, when he was in Carolina, he had a big old fight with Erik Haula, now teammate Erik Haula, in that Devils Kane series. So that's funny. Them two together now as teammates. And, you know, they really have to look up that Carolina to New Jersey pipeline. Dougie Hamilton, Pesci, Noesen. Get someone to check that out. So Stefan Noesen himself, 6'1", 205 pounds. He signs for 3 years at $2.75. Utility winger, who's made himself useful in various roles in the Canes roster in the past 2 seasons. Forechecker, passer, net front player, including on the power play. He even got some power play time in there. Projected to be on that fourth line. Third, fourth line, I could definitely see Noesen coming in here and just, again, boasting that bottom 6. I am so happy with what Fitzgerald did with that. And speaking of reunions, Tomas Tatar, all right? Back in New Jersey. After last season, yeah, because he was here for 22-23, yep. So, last season, the Devils didn't re-sign him. He went to, Colorado, signed as a free agent in Colorado, got traded to Seattle later on, Tatar, left ring, right ring, you could put him, wherever, at least according to NHL.com, go with that. 1 year, $1.8 million, so a little high on the salary, I will admit, but it's a 1-year deal. Veteran bottom 6 scoring winger. Wasn't really fit with either of his teams this past season, but if the Devils could rekindle what he did in 22-23, he was great with Nico Hischier. On the line with Nico Hischier, Tomas Tatar excelled. If I'm Sheldon Keefe, I'm going to put Tatar with Hischier to start the year. See if you could get that chemistry back together. So, yeah, he excelled playing top-line minutes with the Devils, so maybe there's some chemistry that could be tapped again. But he is projected to be on the fourth line. So, maybe as the season goes on, you could slip him down the lineup a little bit. But I think to start the year, they're going to try to pair him with Hischier again and see if they can get that going. All right, so those were the 4 big signing, quote, big signings. You know, that's what the Devils did on starting July 1st in the next couple of days. And now we have the schedule, all right? So if you haven't seen it online yet, here you go. Here's the schedule. You can look it up for yourselves. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, check out the video Dougie Hamilton and Curtis Lazar did revealing the 2024-2025 schedule. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. Just go check it out. They did a great job with it, them two. Professor Dougie Hamilton. Fantastic. So, a lot to go. I'm not going to go over every little detail in every game, but I do have some notes I want to give. So, if you've been living under a rock or haven't heard by now, the Devils are starting their season in Prague in the Czech Republic, October 4th and 5th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. The Friday game is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Saturday game is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? So 2 early games to start the year overseas. They then get a few days off to come back. And then their home opener, all right? The home opener back in the U.S., October 10th against Toronto, all right? So what a way to start the season for the Devils. They go overseas to Prague, play against their former coach in Lindy Ruff, who's now head coach of the Sabres. Then they come back to America and kick off their season at home against Toronto, Sheldon Keefe's former team, coming into town early this year, which is funny because we didn't play Toronto until the very end of last season. It was like 3 games in the span of a couple weeks, so funny there. After that, October 12th, they will head down to Washington to play the Capitals in their home opener. And then, this is a weird one, Utah. All right, the former Arizona Coyotes, now the Utah Hockey Club, they come into town on Monday, October 14th. So our first ever meeting with Utah. Getting it done early, and then we don't see him again until March 1st, I have. So, interesting way to start the season. And for those wondering, 12 back-to-backs this year, all right? So not the 16 from last season, a little bit reduced. We're down to 12. And that first one is immediately at the start of the season. Utah on the 14th, as I was saying, and then the very next night in Carolina, all right? So Pesce and Nason returning back to Carolina very early on, and that's going to be a stretch. That's an interesting little stretch. You play the games overseas, you come home, you get Toronto, Washington, Utah, Carolina. Interesting stretch to start the season. You're diving right in against some teams. You know, Toronto always have had our number mostly in the regular season, especially at the Rock. Can't even remember the last time the Devils beat Toronto at Prudential Center. Washington for their home opener, you know, so that building's going to be rocking. Come home and face this new Utah club to start the year. And then off to Carolina the next night. Ooh, rough. So, a couple other notes. As I said, the home opener on the Thursday, October 10th. First road game the very next day. In April, all right, our last game is April 16th against Detroit. And the final road game, again, ending the year on a back-to-back. So, April 15th, the Devils are in Boston for their final road game of the year. Very next night, they come home to the Rock to play Detroit. That is interesting to end the season. If playoffs are on the line, boy, having a back-to-back to end the year, ooh, could get very interesting. What else should I say here? Rangers Devils, of course, the Hudson River rivalry. These teams won't meet until December, all right? December 2nd is the first meeting. Then December 23rd, January 9th, and then not until April 5th. So that stretch in December into January, and then won't see them again until April. So something there. The big California road trip. So I was looking over this, and I noticed that the Western Canada trip and the California road trip are split up. Hear me out. So we start our Western Canada road trip October 30th, which is something the Devils have been doing the past couple years. They head out to Western Canada in early November. That's been the way for the past 2 seasons now. Western Canada includes, in the October to early November stretch, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Usually they throw Seattle in the mix now, but they are avoiding that. We won't be seeing in Seattle until early January. So then again, I see on the California road trip part of the schedule, Anaheim, LA, San Jose. So all 3 of the California teams, and then Seattle thrown in the mix there. Interesting way the schedule was drawn for us. And also Utah. I just want to mention Utah quickly because I was looking up their schedule. If you notice, we are playing Utah early in the year. That is because immediately after Utah's home opener, their first game in Utah at the Delta Center, they have to fly to the East Coast to do the New York trio, the New York NJ trio. Rangers, Islanders, Devils, immediately after opening in Utah. So a tough early test for that new Utah Hockey Club. You get your home opener on your home ice. I believe they're facing Chicago. I think that was the team. And then you got to fly to the East Coast and play the trio early on. So definitely an early test there for that Utah Hockey Club. What else here? Okay, so let's talk about the Florida Panthers, the defending Cup champions. Devils will visit the Panthers in early November, and hear this out. November 12th and the 14th, they're playing the Panthers back-to-back. Literally. How is that? The 12th and the 14th, the Devils are playing the Panthers, so the Devils get to stay in Sunrise for 3 days. 2-3 days. Interesting. For a little Florida road trip, and then they ended in Tampa. So we are 2 matchups against Florida back-to-back. So those two teams are going to get to know each other pretty good in that timeline. Same with the Flyers, too. So the Devils won't be seeing the Flyers until, what was it, December? No, January. Yeah, January. Yeah, so the Devils will not see the Flyers until January 18th, all right? That's our first matchup against Philly. Pretty late for a divisional opponent. And then at the end of January, on the 27th and the 29th, again, a back-to-back. Not a true back-to-back in terms of back-to-back days, but a home-and-home. January 27th in Philly, and then 2 days late, on the 29th, back in New Jersey at The Rock. And then we don't see Philly again until the end of the year in early March. So there's that. A couple interesting games on the schedule here. 2 times in 3 weeks facing Philly. Speaking of teams, I was also looked up who is the latest team the Devils will play on the schedule this year. As I said earlier, Toronto was the big one last year. This year it's the Minnesota Wild, all right? The Devils will not see the Minnesota Wild until late March. March 29th to be specific. The Devils will head, they do a little Central Division road trip. They ended in Minnesota March 29th. And then a couple days later, March 31st, they come home to play them at The Rock. Which is funny, because last year, the Devils played the Wild in late October, and then headed to the Central to do a little Central road trip, and Minnesota was the first team on that. So this year, it's the opposite, but this time in late March. How funny is that, man? These NHL schedule makers. God dang. A couple other little notes. I just have so much information on here. I'm trying to see what it's important for the video. 29 of the 40 Devils home games will have a 7 p.m. start. A couple of the interesting ones, the one in with Philly on January 18th, that's a 12:30 p.m. puck drop. The game against Utah on October 14th, that's a 1 p.m. puck drop. Both games against the Rangers at home will be both 1 p.m. games. Monday, December 23rd, and Saturday, April 5th. The 2 games at Prudential Center against the Rangers, both starting at 1 p.m. So, interesting puck drops there. Devils will be playing on Thanksgiving Eve this year versus St. Louis. They then play on Black Friday, the 29th of November at Detroit. Game before holiday break is the 23rd against the Rangers. And the game after holiday break against Carolina on the 27th. The Devils will then head off to California. Devils in California for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And yes, Devils will be playing a back-to-back, December 31st and January 1st. At Anaheim on the 31st and January 1st in LA. 8 p.m. and 6 p.m. puck drops for those games respectively. 12 back-to-backs, as I said. One of them is a true both games home and home at Prudential Center. 3 of them, they start at home and then head on the road. 5 of them, road, home. And then 3 games, 3 of the back-to-backs are true road and road back-to-back. Season-long homestand is 5 games. That stretches from December 6th through the 14th. March 31st to April 3rd. Season-long road trip is 6 games from December 29th to January 9th. And there is a 2-week break in February for the Four Nations Face-Off Tournament, February 9th through the 21st. Then wrapping up quickly, hear this one out. Between January 30th and March 6th, all right? Guess how many home games the New Jersey Devils have? Okay. Oh, that's an interesting number. All right. And the number is 2. 2 home games between January 30th and March 6th. Oh, my God in heaven. Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. Don't be alarmed. Again, they have that 2-week break in there for the Four Nations face-off, but February, there's only 2 home games in the month of February. The rest are on the road, all right? So, but, hear this out now. In April, the Devils only have to go on the road once in the month of April. The final 6 of 7 games in the month of April, Devils only have to head out on the road once. All right? And that's in Boston, April 15th, and then they come home to end the regular season on April 16th. So, some home cooking late in the season, March 31st to April 13th, the Devils will be at home. No travel for them at all. If we are in a playoff race, come out to the arena. Come support the team. Good opportunities to see the Devils late in the year. And if they're making that playoff push, come on out and see the boys. Give them the support. They also have a 4-day break between April 1st and April 4th, which could mean a lot in the playoff race, again, if the Devils are in it at that time. 5 home games in 9 days in December. So December, a pretty loaded slate. A lot of home games in December. A lot of home games. 2 Monday 1 p.m. games, October 14th, December 23rd. And Buffalo will not play a game in New Jersey this year. They do the 2 games in Prague to begin the year, and the Devils have to travel to Buffalo once. When did I see that Buffalo game? In February 2nd, all right? So there's a deep dive into our schedule. I think it's a respective schedule, personally. It does have its ups and downs. Being home in April for a majority of the games is absolutely huge. So hopefully they'll have some playoff implications there. So to wrap up this video, yesterday Tom Fitzgerald spoke to the media, recapping his free agency, the moves he made. And I have a couple of those quotes here. So, he first set off that the team checked off their offseason boxes. New coach, goaltender, harder defense, depth bottom 6 with a different look. Pretty much nailed all of that. He said experience is important. Our average team age is bottom 5. You do need experience. You do need voices that have been around. That's for some of the vets coming in. He said the offense is not a concern with his team. He wanted to shore up the depth and physicality down the lineup, hoping that Mercer and role players will chip in to account for the loss of Toffoli's goal production, but being better defensively will make them a better team. I agree with every single one of those words, and I do have some thoughts about the lack of a top 6 addition. So we're right there. Dougie Hamilton is 100%. He is ready to go. Will be fully ready at training camp. He was literally right there, too. If the Devils would have made the playoffs, give it another week or 2, Dougie would have been back in the lineup. So you never know with that. Jack Hughes, Timo Meier are on track to be ready for training camp in September. Good there. A Luke Hughes contract extension. He is entering the final year of his rookie ELC. Talks are not a priority at this moment, but both sides know Luke is a long-term Devil. I agree. Check back. If they want to go the Jack and Nico route, December, January. If not, again, he'll be an RFA. not a priority at the moment. That's fine. And the last big thing here. New Jersey has become a destination for good players. On July 1st, our phones ring with top players wanting to come here. Noted that it started with Dougie Hamilton picking New Jersey a few years ago, and I agree with that. So, final thoughts on the free agency, and this is pretty much it until September, October. I know people are I've been teasing it the whole video. I know people are disappointed that the Devils did not add a top 6 guy. And even though they were on him, Jonathan Marchessault, we know he was projected, in quotes, to be a Devil. He was leading up to be a Devil all morning on July 1st. It started breaking the night before, actually. I got told that keep an eye on Jonathan Marchessault in New Jersey. Nothing confirmed, but... And then I wake up July 1st and I see, Marchessault and the Devils are close. They're 90% there. They're right there. And then what happens an hour before free agency begins? Nashville stepped in and got him. They gave him the 5-year deal. The money wasn't... I think it's just because Nashville gave him 5 years. I really do. And also no state income tax in Tennessee. So, whatever. Just it's the things you do with living in a state like we are here in New Jersey. But a little disappointing to miss out on that. And I was in that camp, But what it does, not getting the guy right now. And the offense, I think, is going to be fine. When everyone's healthy, the team clicks. We know it does. So what it does, I think it sets up them going after a pure, surefire rental and free agency. I think that's really what that move is going to do. Not free agency. What am I thinking? The trade deadline. Jesus Christ, we just went through free agency. I think this sets up a big trade deadline move, like a Timo. If the team is successful and if they can hold, Tom Fitzgerald will go, all right, then get that guy in the trade deadline time. I think the offense will be fine. The defense and bottom 6, that improving so much. Gonna be great. It is. The team will not be going down 1-0 most nights. Hopefully. Injuries, I hope they can stay healthy. Again, new coach coming in. Goaltender. I think the team is going to be fine, and I am very, 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 very excited to go see them play. We're less than 100 days away from them opening the season in Prague. We're less than 80 days away from about 80 days, I think, from the first preseason game. So, September 22nd is the first preseason game. October 4th, the season opener. I will have my season preview video on October 3rd because, as I've stated, the 2 games in Prague are afternoon and early morning games. So I will have the season preview video for the 2024-2025 season on October 3rd. So stay tuned for that. And that is it for the summer. Barring anything else, I don't think it'll happen, but I think this will do it, and we can head into the season. So, enjoy the rest of the summer. I'll be back. All right, I'm still doing my live streams. If you join me for my live streams, okay, thank you for doing so. And also thank you for the views recently. Some of the videos have been doing very good view rise and comment interaction. So I appreciate all of you who have been checking out the channel. Click the subscribe button. All right, I'm not really one to, ask for views, click for likes, subscribes, but if you enjoy the content you're seeing, the button's right there. It's free, for Christ's sake, all right? What else is free anymore these days? That button's free. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you all have a good rest of the summer for the hockey fans. And the season's just a little over a couple months away, so enjoy 4th of July, as I said, to all my viewers here in the United States. Be responsible with whatever you do. My name is Trevor. I will see you for the next one.